Hello, dear friends. Today I'm going to tell you about the biggest untold secret of wealth and poverty. Once upon a time, there lived a very rich man, and everything was just perfect for him. One day, a curious young guy, during a public prayer in the city, asked this rich man how he got so wealthy. He replied, "The fact is that money and everything precious loves me. They just stick to me." The guy was surprised. How is it? How can gold love you? And man replied, "I don't know, but I feel it. Let me just prove it to you. Here's a golden ring for you." He took a huge golden ring with diamonds from his ring finger and delicately placed in the palms of this curious guy. Then the man said, "In a week, this ring has to come back to me. Otherwise, it's yours." The guy was delighted, put the ring on his finger, and ran away. This guy got such tremendous joy from getting lucky that day. He kept showing his hand so that everyone could see this ring. Naturally, he told this story to his friends and all about this ring. And they certainly envied this guy. And a couple of days later, this guy and his friends went to sunbath and swim in the river. He undressed and carefully hid the ring in his clothes. One of his friends saw him hide the ring and decided to steal it. Of course, the guy watched his clothes so that no one could steal the ring. But when he plunged headlong into the water, his friend rushed to the clothes and began to look for the ring. Then the guy saw this and rushed to his friend. A fight broke out. His friend grabbed one side of the guy's clothes, and the guy grabbed the other side, and both started to pull in different directions. Suddenly, the ring fell out and rolled straight into a deep river. Both saw this and jumped into the river after the ring. But it was too late. The ring was carried away by the current. Several days passed, and the young guy was still upset. He sat by the bank of the river and thought about the ring. Then he remembered that the owner of the ring said that the gold loves him and will return to him in a week. He jumped up and ran to the man's house. He knocked on the gate of the house. The servant opened the gate and asked, "What do you need?" And the guy asked for an audience with that man. But the servant said that the man was having dinner and could not meet him. A second later, the voice of that man was heard from afar. "Let him in." When the guy entered the living room where that man was having dinner, he first of all looked at his hand and was very surprised that the same ring was on the ring finger of that man. He came to his senses and asked with surprise how he had this ring. The man politely invited him to sit down at the table and taste the dinner he had prepared himself. The guy sat down at the table. The man handed him a plate of food, and he says, "Every Thursday I go fishing for catfish. I love this fish. And this time, in the guts of this catfish, to my surprise, I found my ring." After silence, he said, "It just loves me and always finds me. By the way, try this catfish. I cook it myself." Why I am telling you this story? The most important secret of wealth and success is not your talents, because millions of talented people live in poverty. Not knowledge, Look how many poor, smart people, not strength, only out of thousands strong people succeed. The most important secret of success and wealth is whether money loves you. You can get the love of money in different ways. Money loves those who are loved by people. Money loves those who are lucky. Money loves those who appreciate it, saves it, always thinks about it, does not spend it, and does not give it away to anyone. All these qualities a person receives from birth. That means it comes with certain DNA combinations. Look, the DNA combination determines his parents, which means it determines the place of birth, the circle of friends, school, and colleges. The DNA combination determines talents, beauty, intelligence, and all mentioned above together create luck. Without exception, all successful and wealthy people have a successful or lucky DNA combination. So what about those who did not get a lucky body in a lucky time at a lucky place? How do they become loved by money and wealth? Unfortunately, it is impossible to change the DNA combination. After all, DNA is the code for unfolding your life, that is, the flow of reality or ultimate consciousness available to you, with the help of which you have the opportunity to unfold your life accordingly. Pay attention to the keyword available. So the secret way to become loved by money is to increase access to ultimate consciousness in unison with the vibration of wealth. One of these ways is to unite many honest, devoted, and true, like-minded people in a group and create collective wealth. That is, the totality of the DNA of many people opens up greater access to the flow of reality and wealth. Another such way is to go beyond your DNA, beyond your mind and thoughts, and open access to the unlimited consciousness and attract the love of wealth yourself. Now let me explain. All ordinary people think that they live this life by passing through reality, and in this way they make, shape, or build their life in this world. But in fact, reality passes through us, and this reality constantly, every millisecond, creates our life. When you realize this and experience this current of reality passing through your mind and intellect, you will see how your thoughts are created. You will feel the approach of joyful circumstances, or, on the contrary, sad ones. Reality is constantly changing. At least we feel that way. As a result, our body chemistry changes accordingly. This means that new sensations, thoughts, ideas are constantly born. Unfortunately, we can't control our body chemistry, like we can't control heart or aging. We can't control type of skin or how tall we are, etc., etc. Certain vibrations of reality at a certain time in a lucky body will create such a chemical reaction, the result of which will be a new masterpiece of art, music, literature, or scientific discovery, or a business idea, Or maybe this chemical reaction will make you buy a lucky lottery ticket. Or maybe the subtlest smell of this reaction will somehow attract the right person in the business. Knowing the nature of your body and the nature of reality, you can feel the changes in reality. If you get close to the source of reality change, you will feel the diverse vibrations of reality. And finally, you will feel the vibrations of wealth and success. And then you can attract them. Gradually, the chemistry of your body will change, which means that your friends' circle and circumstances will change too. Your whole life will change. How to do this? See the explanation for this video and our other videos.
Life-changing enlightenment. Consciousness reprogramming video. As a blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all bad karma.
Learning is a light, and ignorance is darkness. Greetings. Today I present to you a video of consciousness programming. And first comes an explanation of the nature of our consciousness. Because we have to know what to enlighten, right? Now, before we start watching, in some places I will do comments and explain so that there is a clarity. And clarity is part of self-enlightenment.
Consciousness. At first glance, it seems that consciousness is characteristic only of living beings. But all living beings are formed from non-living, from matter. That is, in a certain state, with a certain configuration and under certain conditions. Non-living is able to turn into living, which means that most likely consciousness already exists in non-living. It is just waiting for its animation. All it needs is the right space and the right proportion of different elements.
Look, the body is made up of chemical elements. All of these chemical elements exist as inanimate nature, but when they get into formation in seeds or embryon, they begin to live.
Actually, the difference between the chemistry of the alive and the dead body will be a catalyst or activator of life and living consciousness.
Yes, a second ago the body lived, but now it doesn't. What has disappeared? What chemistry has been broken? And where did it disappear to?
The chemistry of the body of any living being is a whole ensemble of chemical elements of the earth. The richer and more diverse this ensemble is, the more conscious the living being. The melody played by this ensemble of the body is its life. Did this melody arise as a result of combination of components of the ensemble? Or did the ensemble arise under the play of this melody named life? Think about it.
No one knows when and who invented music. And actually, everything or particle has its own sound. If you play all the existing sounds, you will surely get the melody of life. The muse is a goddess of inspiration and creativity. Therefore, she creates and inspires.
What properties does consciousness have? Can consciousness be measured at all? Is it subject to our systems of measurement? Actually, consciousness is absolutely everything that surrounds us. There is no full description of consciousness, although consciousness in living beings manifests itself as awareness. Consciousness is realized by awareness, which is consciousness too, like everything else. Intriguing, right?
It is impossible to describe consciousness. We in the human body can describe everything that we feel with our senses. Unfortunately, there is no sensing organ that could touch or see consciousness, only indirectly. However, having received self-enlightenment, you can do this. You just must first dissolve into consciousness and feel its boundaries.
How awareness works. It has the following aspects: consciousness, consciousness and subconsciousness. Human consciousness is located in the cerebral cortex, the subconsciousness in the subcortical centers. Consciousness consists of mind, intellect, and actual intellect.
To make it easy for you, we divided the whole function of awareness into several separate functions. Again, it will be easier to understand your own consciousness nature. And most importantly, this will be the beginning of self-knowledge.
What is intellect? It is born by the contact of newborn seed of human consciousness with the outside world. This intellect is necessary for the survival and development of the individual, and it forms 4 screens in the inner world of humans.
Yes, over time, we develop the skills to segregate the functions of awareness. Depending on the kind of activity of awareness, we build the environment accordingly.
The screen of the present, here and now. The screen of the past, memory. The future, dreams, plans, projecting and reasoning. And the thought-forming screen. At night, this screen broadcasts dreams. These screens are layered on top of each other, and the eye of the mind changes screens depending on the state of mind.
Everything that we see and feel around us is recorded in memory in the form of images. We then use these images in work of conscious mind. And as we know, we need a screen to view images, right? And we first of all create screens in our minds. How we create these screens, we will talk later.
The thought-forming screen is the closest to the subconsciousness, since the brain sounds and light vibrations of the subconsciousness create forms and images which emerge to this screen as a thought.
We have not explained the subconscious part of awareness yet. In few words, it is a constantly working background of conscious mind.
The screen of acquired impressions and memory is the screen of the past. It is located close to memory. This screen is always on to support other screens with images. After all, one always has to remember who he is, where he is, etc.
Yes, the screen of the past is a window into memory. And without memory, we don't even know who we are. Therefore, this screen always works in different alternating modes though. The quality of the screen determines your ability to remember.
The screen of the future directly depends on the screen of the past, since one is only able to reformulate things already seen by him. That's why this screen consumes more brain energy.
This screen consumes a lot of energy, since you need to create images of the future from images from their memories. So you can dream and create hopes, but there is a lot of energy in the mind. If this screen does not work, the person loses hope and therefore depressed. Whoever has this screen in good quality is always an optimist.
The main survival and self-awareness screen is the here and now. This screen is an important acquired habit for merging from the inner to outer world and in the moment of shifting the awareness.
Close your eyes and try to move your head and body. You will immediately turn on the screen and see yourself from the outside. This is an unusual screen. We rarely use it. Please know that this screen is the most important for self-enlightenment. When you see yourself from the outside, you dissolve into the universal consciousness. This screen potentially has no borders. Once you program your subconsciousness to complete goodness mode, you will be able to achieve self-enlightenment. Well, of course, through this screen. One of the signs of achieving enlightenment is meeting a heavenly being. There you start a new adventure of your unlimited consciousness.
What is the mind? It consists of the eye of the mind and the inner voice. What is the eye of the mind? It is a sublimation of the feeling of oneself into inner vision. It looks at and considers figurative thoughts and images. What is inner voice? It is an acquired habit formed by the heard voices of others and oneself. It speaks inside, and the intellect itself listens to it.
Indeed, in order to see mental images and reason the thoughts, we need an eye and voice. Thanks to the eyes and voice of our body, we copied them and moved them to the mind. Although with voice, it's a little different story.
What is actual intellect? It is a mindful acquired habit that uses the mind and intellect to solve tasks and problems. This skill shapes personality, inclinations, and willpower.
And now an explanation of the actual or active intellect. This is the part of awareness that determines your character and abilities. It is mind in action. That is why it's called actual. Actual intellect requires a huge amount of energy. In some people, the supply of this energy goes off scale, thanks to the well-established work of the brain. For others, this energy is dissipated. Therefore, everyone has a different level of actual intellect. Soon, we will talk about how to optimize the actual intellect function.
What is the subconsciousness? It is a constant stream of nerve impulses in the subcortical centers of the brain, even when one is sleeping. It is the flow or vibrations because of which awareness exists and functions. There would be no waves without the sea.
Everything we've talked about above, screens, eyes of the mind, voices, memory, all this created and supported by the matter of subconscious mind. This is the material for building a conscious mind.
Consciousness rests on the subconscious. At the contact of consciousness and subconsciousness, a layer of 4 screens formed. That's where intellect takes place.
In fact, the conscious mind cannot exist without the subconscious mind. As soon as the subconscious changes, you become a completely different person. For example, when exposed to drugs or alcohol or even simple coffee, human conscious is a tool necessary for solving problems, creation, and cognitive abilities. And the subconscious mind is motivation and satisfaction with life.
Why improve the subconsciousness? If you go into a dark room, it is difficult for you to figure out what is where. As soon as you turn on the light, everything becomes clear and easy. Or on a rainy, cloudy day, you don't even want to look out the window. When it's sunny, you run outdoors. The subconscious is the light for the consciousness.
How do you think the mind's eye can see in the dark? You actually can't see anything in dark. The eye needs light. Where does this light come from? Well, the subconscious mind, of course.
If you want to talk near a highway, you won't understand anything because of the noise. When you are in a quiet, cozy park, you can easily understand each other. Or when you are squeezed in a crowd of people in a subway car, you want to quickly get yourself out of there, and how pleasant it is for you to travel in a spacious cruise ship. The subconscious is the space for consciousness.
Yes, if there is no space, how the sound will reach you? Only in the space you can do something, move, talk, right? Even your body is created in space. There is nothing without space.
For the successful function of consciousness, a bright, silent, and spacious subconsciousness is necessary. It is pleasant for the mind's eye to look at your intellect screens in the clean, fresh, bright, and silent space of your subconsciousness. These bring happiness.
Yes, when we have order and peace, everything is beautiful and tidy. Life is good. Clarity is light without shadows. When the shadow and darkness are around, it becomes gloomy and depressive.
How to change the subconscious? The subconsciousness is shaped by a constant stream of neurotransmitters. There are dozens of different neurotransmitters, the main ones being 7. Of these, some are serotonin, dopamine, and others have a positive effect, and some, like norepinephrine, histamine, and others have a negative effect. Although all of them are necessary for the function of the mind and body, the abnormal predominance of some neurotransmitters lead to an inevitable change in the subconscious. So, in order for a cocktail of neurotransmitters to be positive, you need to tune the subcortical centers to positive vibrations. Each subcortical center has its own amplitude.
All our emotions and impressions are just chemistry. Everyone has different chemistry at different times. Our mood is also chemistry. So ideally, we want our brain to produce the right chemistry.
We developed an effective technology for programming the subconsciousness for positive vibrations through passive observation in order to restore the proper function of consciousness.
The most possible image of subconscious mind is the waves and the sound of silence. We created this image of optimal amplitude of waves.
Consciousness and subconsciousness reprogramming video. In order to get a direct impact on the subconscious, we need the same vibrations that will unison with one subconscious mind. Image with the same frequency of vibration, the correct mass of light, and its amplitude. We created it. The next step is the creation of positive impressions in the form of smiling humans. Only in the moment of true smiling one feels peace and bliss. Smiling is shining. We created it.
When everyone around us smiles, we feel safe and confident in the good intentions of others. Your fears disappear, and you are ready for happiness.
And now, the most important point. If you look directly at these images, then the actual intellect turns on and everything that you see is filtered through prejudices and judgments. Thus, these vibrations do not reach the subconscious. The subconsciousness is the essential background of consciousness, and in reprogramming video, the main action image needs to be set up as a background. We created it.
Everything we see, we involuntarily try on to our standards, and we always look for differences and shortcomings in observed objects or subjects. The reason of that is the memory screen that is always working, and everything that is felt or seen is being sorted according to what type of memory, good or bad, the object or subject belong to. This is function of the actual intellect. And therefore, it is very important to look at the middle part of this video, which is in our case is massage video. Every day watch and closely observe this massage video, and meantime the background will influence and reprogram your subconscious, and over time you will completely reprogram your conscious for happiness. When your subconscious is peaceful and blissful, everything will fall into the place and will be extremely clear. You can easily control and change the center of awareness from individual mind to the universal intellect of the whole universe. When your awareness is located in the deep core of the actual intellect, and that's what we need, you will begin to intensely feel the transcendental energy of consciousness and progressively merge with the universe's consciousness. This is enlightenment. And for more information, for more practical techniques of the self-enlightenment, you can contact me at the comments section. And thank you for your attention, and I wish you good luck and self-enlightenment.